Well, hello and welcome to this latest video in the NetBeans 101 series, focusing on the options dialog. In this video, we're going to look at the editor section and the other tabs, because we've already looked at some of those. For example, code completion and code templates. I'll put links to those at the top. This is going to look at the other tabs. It should take about 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, depending on the speed of my typing. Please comment, like, share, and subscribe. And as a reminder, just as a quick reminder, all these videos are suitable for all three operating systems which NetBeans runs on: Windows, macOS and Linux. Usually there are no differences whatsoever. If on the rare occasion there are minor differences, I'll point them out. If there are major differences, which are very extremely rare, I'll create separate videos, for example, like installing NetBeans on the different operating systems. Let's get started. So we are now looking at hints. So I clicked on tools and then options and then editor and hints. Now the hints, I'll just move this out the way a little bit, are for this gutter here. These are little icons that appear here and over the text. So for example, we have in HTML, and we're looking at an HTML file, we have various different things that we can look at. So let's just have a look at the interface very quickly. You can select the different languages for which you want hints for, and you can then select which hints you want to show or not show. So you can switch them on and off by clicking on the box. You can decide whether you want to show them as a warning, as an error, as a suggestion for the current line, or as info. I would strongly recommend leaving them as is because the default settings are very good. You can't actually change the code comments here. You can't change these whatsoever. So let's very quickly have a look at a hint. So for example, if I come down to this line here and remove the end comment, you'll see we get the warning message, which is the light bulb and the exclamation mark, and it gives you the details in the box. So those are hints, and you can switch them on and off as you wish. Next, highlighting. Again, you can change this, but the number of languages are much more limited to Java, PHP, and C++. There are different options for the highlighting in the different languages, and you can see the different options here. Again, to activate or deactivate, just add or remove the tick in next to the item you want to add or remove. I have a PHP file open and I'll show you what the highlighting does. Okay, if you've got a variable or something like that, you'll see that I've clicked on form and all the instances of form have been highlighted within the PHP code. So if I do field, you'll see that all the fields are highlighted. If I do the this, you'll see just the one this is highlighted on that. So that's what the highlighting does. It basically shows you where all the other occurrences are. Now, the keep marks, if you remove that, it will actually remove the mark when you move away from it. I leave that on. Okay, let's come to macros. Now, there are 3 macros already, and to create a new macro, there are 2 ways of doing it. You can click on New, and you'll be given a name, a box for the name. So let's put one in, clear to the end of the line. While it's highlighted, you can add the macro code. I'll just copy and paste this because I already have this here. And there are keywords that you can use, and I'll put a link to the list of keywords in the comments below. So here, this selects from the cursor, the caret, to the end of the line, and then it removes it. Now, for a macro to actually be of any use, you have to set a shortcut for it. If it doesn't have a shortcut, then basically it's not very much use. I'm going to set the shortcut of Alt and L, as I believe this hasn't been used before. I'm not getting an error, so I'm assuming that that's okay, and I will click OK. If I now click Apply, and we'll just click OK just to clear that. If I come to, for example, Test, and place the cursor here, if I then now press Alt and L, you'll see that the macro fires. I'll just do Control and Z to put it back in again. So that's how you can create a macro very easily like that. Now, for example, you may want to actually record a macro because you do a lot of typing for some reason or other. What you can do, and this might take me a moment to do because my typing is not the best in the world, is you can find a space on any form that you're using or that, and then at the top here you've got the record and the stop. So the start and the stop, they're also in the edit menu towards the bottom, the start and the stop. First of all, you can start recording, and then you can put in what it is that you want to put in. And we will then add a little bit more to it. So we will tell it that it's an input. Those of you who know Ye will know that this is so that we can have translations. And I'm just checking that I have it correct. Oops. And I think that should be correct. So let's just have a look. Now you can see we've got an error. So obviously we have an error here. So it's now still checking to make sure we've correct. So let me just check to see that I've got everything correct. Right, yes. There was the error. Okay, so we can now stop recording. We'll give it a name. Email form. And as you can see, it's put the various different items in. Now, to make it actually work, we have to set a shortcut. If we don't set a shortcut, it will probably not be of much use. So let's try Alt and F. It seems that that shortcut is okay. So we'll click on OK. If we now click on OK, we have that email. I'll just delete that now, and if I type in Alt and F, we have email going back in again. Oops. Now it's recorded some errors on this, so we now need to edit those errors. So if we go into Tools, Options, and we come down here, you can see we've got these caret forward, caret delete, previous, and that type of thing. Well, we don't actually need most of these here. So what we're going to have to do is remove most of them. And let's have a look. In fact, it will probably be easier if I copy and paste the correct code. So let me just check that that looks okay. It is, so we will click apply and okay. So this is one of the problems that you will have when you create macros. You'll have to make sure that you create them correctly. So let's try again. If I press Alt and F, we should have our macro, and the macro works, and we now have the form that we want. Okay, so the next one in the list is on save. Now this is what you want the system to do on save. There are all the languages are here, and basically you can get it to reformat or not if you wish. I have set it to all lines, and I've removed the trailing white space from all the lines as well. Again, you can set this as the default for all the languages, and then you can come down and change it individually for each language if you wish, and then you can decide whether or not you want to do just the modified lines or whatever. So that's your choice here. We'll use the all language settings. The spell checker checks your spelling within the various different languages that you can use in NetBeans. It looks at the dictionaries, it looks at the system you've actually got already, and it installs the dictionaries for you. You can actually add more with the add button, but you have to have downloaded them. I haven't downloaded any dictionaries, so I wouldn't be able to add them. And the default locale is the one for your computer, and you can change it if you so wish. I'm in the United Kingdom, so it's default to ENGB. Finally, go to is when you actually want to go to one of the items or the next item within the code. You can do this, for example, by right-clicking on something and using the go to declaration, and it will go to the declaration for that, for example. You can use and how you want that to work. So as you can see, it's going through and it's found the field declaration for me within the code. It's part of the active form. So that's what the go to option does. And where are we? It goes to the, you can decide how it's going to select and highlight those. Note that it will actually check all the projects that you have open at the same time. So if you've got more than one project open, you'll find that it will go to those. So for example, if you go, Mouse has stopped working. It's very useful. Where were we? Navigate. So, for example, if you go to type, it'll ask you for the type field, and it will look through all of your projects to find that type as well. Okay, that's about everything in the editor tab. Next video will be on the fonts and colors and setting up the fonts colors. Please like, share and subscribe and leave any comments below. My name's John and I'll see you next time.